Hey guys, it's Katie, MzNaturalLife. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my eczema story. I want to let you guys know a little bit about my battle with eczema. And I would like to also share with you a few items that I use to help me battle outbreaks, that I use for sensitive skin and dry skin and everything like that. So I wanted to come on here and kind of talk about this because I know I review a lot of hair products and a lot of skincare products, and I wanted to kind of give you guys the backstory so you can understand my complete love and obsession for natural products for hair and skin, and also so I can maybe offer some items and some information to help people that suffer with eczema or dry skin or sensitive skin. I'm going to just start from the beginning. How about that? Okay, so as far back as I can remember, I have suffered with eczema. Now, when I was growing up, eczema was not a thing that was commonplace, at least where I lived. Most people didn't know what that was. I remember probably around first grade or second grade, it was summertime, and I remember feeling my arms itching in the, in the crux of my arm here, in the bend of my arm. My mom says that it was probably a little bit earlier, but she can't remember the exact time either, that I started developing a rash in the fold of my arms and on the back of my knees. And so of course she took me to the doctor and everything, and the doctor said it's eczema. And it's like, what? Eczema. I remember being a little girl and having terrible itching and terrible burning. My mom would have to put this medicine on my arms, and I had to take oatmeal baths and stuff like that. I remember the other kids sometimes asking me if I had ringworm or if I had poison ivy. It seemed to be a constant question, and I would come home and say, Mom, do I have ringworm? Do I have poison ivy? She's like, no, you have eczema. And she said eczema is a skin condition, and it's not contagious and all those type of things. So I remember at a very young age having to kind of give that speech to people like, it's not contagious, it's not gonna hurt you, and I would almost like get so sick and tired of people asking me about it. So when I was a little girl, it pretty much stayed in the fold of my arms and the back of my knees, sometimes in between my thighs. It seemed to get worse in the summer more so than the winter when I was little, that I remember. But I remember that I also could only use Dove soap. Bubble baths were very few and far between, and my mom just put just enough in there so we could have bubbles. Me and my sister, of course, took baths together when we were little. Thumbs up if you took baths with your siblings, okay? So they were few and far between, but she was very picky with the brand of the bubble bath that she would use so that we would not break out, or so that I would not break out. As I got older, the eczema spread in different places. So every now and then I'd have a little patch here or there, but it was mostly always, around the folds or like where my socks were and stuff like that. When I was growing up, most of the girls hit a acne breakout, when they hit puberty, or they had horrible menstrual cycles and things like that. I didn't have that. I didn't have acne. I didn't have horrible menstrual cycles, but I did have a horrible eczema outbreak when I turned about 15 years old, entering right into high school. So I had eczema everywhere on my body. I had eczema on my neck, on my breasts, on my chest, on my stomach, all over my arms and my legs, and it was just like big patches. There was a patch that was like this big right here. I had it on the front of my hand, everywhere. And of course my mom, we used cocoa butter, and I took the hot baths like I was supposed to and everything, but it seemed like nothing was working. It kept getting worse and worse. And so my mom ended up actually taking me to a dermatologist, and I had to actually get x-rays. And I remember feeling so embarrassed. I basically had to strip down naked because the doctor was concerned about how many layers of skin the eczema was going through, because if it gets down deep, you can have like system problems and everything with your blood and everything. And because the spots were so deep into my skin, I had to get x-rays to make sure that it wasn't like doing something internally. Thankfully it wasn't, but I had to use this steroid cream. I don't remember the name of it, but I got this big huge tub of it and I had to use it and sit in hot baths. My mom had to put towels on for me, you know, boil the towels, like make them as hot as they could be, and then place them on the areas so that it can really penetrate into the skin. That was my worst eczema outbreak. I hated it. It was embarrassing when I went to school. I even had an outbreak on my face around here, which was completely embarrassing as a girl. You know, teenage girls and boys are nasty, and they say nasty stuff to you, or what you've been doing is like, I ain't been doing nothing, I'm not finna do nothing. So it was really embarrassing and hard to deal with. I was mortified. It made me kind of retract. I was always a kind of outgoing kid, and I kind of withdrew internally. A lot of times I didn't want to go out with my friends. I'd rather stay home and read. It was a very big thing for me. So it was hard, but my mom just kept, you know, encouraging me and saying it's gonna be fine, it's gonna clear up. So she was right, it did clear up, but I still had some scarring. A lot of times I didn't want to wear shorts anymore. I wore jackets all the time because I didn't want the scarring on my arms to show. After that big outbreak, it kind of died down. I would just have little spots in places that would break out, and I had the cream and I would just put it on as soon as it started to itch or even think about itching. Sometimes without my mom knowing, I actually just put it on even when I wasn't having a breakout, because I just didn't want to have that happen again. And so it didn't do, you know, very terrible breakouts. When I went to college, I did have some breakouts, and they always seemed to come during high stress time. I was a music business major in college, so I had to do the music side as well, and I sang, I had a scholarship, and so it seemed like before like big recitals or before big things, I would get little patches on myself. So I knew that it was triggered with stress, also things I ate. I try to drink a lot of water, but if I drink a lot of soda or have a whole lot of sweets, it kind of triggers that. So I learned a lot of ways on how to manage it, but I felt trapped still. I could only use Dove soap. You know, all the other girls could do Bath and Body Works and all that other stuff. That was not an option for me. Couldn't do the girly soaps, the girly lotions, but I learned how to manage it. My cousin also gave me a tip when I was in high school, that he said you can wear perfume if you just spray it on your clothes, don't spray it on your skin. And I was like, what? And he was right. I was able to spray my clothes, like put the spray up here, you know, on my shoulders, and let it sit for a while I was getting my shower and stuff, and then I could put the shirt on and I wouldn't have a breakout, but I still got to smell good. So I found a lot of different ways to be able to feel girly without having an extreme breakout. I have to say the blessing in all of it was that I didn't have allergic reactions to makeup. So I could wear like face powder and eyeshadow and different things like that. There were a few brands that broke me out, but most of the time I could wear makeup and eyeshadow. So that was my thing of, you know, I could be girly that way. I could wear nail polish and different things like that. So I was fine. I had been dealing with it my whole life. So it really wasn't a thing, but it kind of was. Like around Christmas when all the gift sets were going out and everything, I would smell everything in Bath & Body Works, but it's very rare that I bought any. So fast forward through college, I get married, and I had pretty much learned how to manage my eczema to where I wouldn't have breakouts. I knew when I was getting ready to have one, so I knew what to do, what steps to follow. And so I kind of, you know, got on a system, a regimen to where I could tell. But then I decided to go natural in 2010. You know, it was when I started, you know, with the whole thing and started cutting my hair, and I started researching about hair, and I discovered this whole world of natural stuff for your skin and for your body, and I was like, what? Why didn't I know about this? You know, why didn't somebody tell me? Why didn't somebody tell my mama? You know, it was like a whole, you know, light came on once I started, you know, kind of learning about natural products for your hair. Of course, the skincare came into play. And so I actually had an outbreak on my foot, and it was about this wide of a circle. And on my foot, it almost covered the whole top of my foot, and it was just an eczema patch. It just came up one day, and I was like, oh man. And I read a blog, I think it was on Afrobella's site or somebody's blog about shea butter. So I went to the store and I bought the yellow shea butter that comes in the tub, and I put it on, and it took about 7 days, it cleared up just like that, boom. and I didn't even get a scar. And I was like, oh my gosh, I called my mom squealing, I found this shea butter. My mom was like, what? You did what? And I told her all about it. And so then I learned about African black soap, so I decided to try African black soap. And there's a little small African mart here in my city, and I went and purchased it, and I thought it was the most gross looking soap ever. But I decided to try it, and I was like, please Jesus, do not let me break out. And I didn't, and it actually really helped my skin. And I told my mom about that, and so I got really excited. And of course, right around that time, as I was discovering the products for my skin and my hair, I discovered Shea Moisture, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's this body line and body wash. And so I immediately purchased all that stuff. And honestly, that was the very first time that I got to use girly stuff, like in the shower. In, you know, when you get out of the shower, you got the lotion. And my husband actually laughed his head off at me because he was like, you're like a little girl, because I had never been able to take a shower and use body wash and use body scrub and use body lotion. Like, imagine my delight in finding out that I can smell like a girl, that I can use something besides Dove soap. I mean, thank the Lord for Dove soap, thank the Lord, but it's kind of boring, you know, and I couldn't even use the other flavors. It was only the white original kind, okay? And so imagine my just excitement, my overwhelming excitement. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm like diehard Shea Moisture, because they were the first brand that I discovered that I could actually use for head to toe and not worry about breaking out, not worrying about eczema patches, not worrying about a whole bunch of mess. And it was a big deal for me, a very big deal for me. It still is. And so people kind of look at me sideways when I'm going ham sandwich over new body products or new hair products and different things, because I couldn't use those things. I was always stuck with one set of, you know, these are the 5 things you can use, and the end. There's no more. There's no looking out. There's no looking and searching for other things. You're stuck in this box if you want to look like a person, and if you don't want to have scars all over your body all the time. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I love it. And the fact that they don't put all those additives and all those other things in there. Like, I get to finally get the whole essence of womanhood. Most of my scars have healed and have gone away since 2010. Honestly, I used black soap and shea butter on my body before I discovered some of these other brands and the Shea Moisture. And, you know, all the scarring, you know, that was on my forearms and my hand have cleared up. And even in the crux of my arm, it's only a little bit dark here, but not a lot at all. I do still have some scarring on my neck, which I was like, I'm never going to talk about this, but I'm not wearing this scarf as a cover it up. It's cold and I'm recovering from a cold. But I do still have some scarring on my neck that I'm working on right now. And it is here, right here, where the largest patches were when I had the outbreak. But they have lightened over time. Sometimes I put powder on my neck to kind of like disguise it a little bit, but most of the time I don't really care. I don't really think about it. I did used to be very self-conscious because I thought, oh, my neck looks dirty. You know, I don't want my neck to look black, you know, like I didn't take a shower. But I'm just working out using the shea butter in that area to see if it will lighten. So I'm really satisfied with the progress that I've made as far as the scarring and different things like that. On my legs, I still do have a few dark spots. But for the most part, they've really cleared up all over my body from using natural products. And I was really excited about that. I feel like it's just coming around like full circle and everything like that. And I can really love the skin that I'm in, like all the way, not be self-conscious or anything like that. So I'm really excited, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here. Am I saying that everybody's scars are going to go completely away? No, because all mine have. I'm still, you know, hoping and praying and believing that they will go away. But what I can say is it is manageable, and this natural journey has changed my whole life. You know, MzNaturalLife, okay, has changed me in so many ways, in so many good ways. You know, so many ways I've learned how to care for my skin. So I just wanted to come on and share that with you guys, because many of you may not know, you know, in sensitive skin and sensitive everything, it's hard to kind of try to balance out and find things that work.